I think it's not a stretch to argue that workplace bullies bully because they are afraid of something. Bullying is fear-based behavior, and bullies are fear-based people. I don't like to do black and white thinking. Unfortunately, there's a lot of duality in this 3D reality, and there really are only two vibrations in the universe: love and fear. I'll let you guess which one workplace bullies are operating out of. What are workplace bullies so afraid of? Well, workplace bullies are narcissists, and narcissists care about one thing and only one thing in this world or in this life, and that's their image, their reputation, what other people think of them, and how they look to other people. They also live in a world of comparisons and superlatives. In other words, if you're not first, you're last. So what workplace bullies really hate is being shown up. They resent being compared to the target. In fact, psychological studies have shown that the true motivation behind one type of workplace bullying, sexual harassment, is something called feared incompetence. The sexual harasser fears looking incompetent vis-a-vis the target, proving, as I have long maintained, that sexual harassment, like sexual assault, has nothing to do with sex, and I think the terminology needs to change. What workplace bullies are really afraid of is being judged. They are incredibly thin-skinned people who care way too much about what other people, including the target, think of them. Pretty much everything about workplace bullying is weird, but perhaps the weirdest thing that I have identified in almost 3 decades of being bullied is that after bullying you, workplace bullies still care about what you think of them. They want and need to be liked and respected, and will even tell you that directly. So here we go again with our favorite resident workplace bully, blowing into the room with all the subtlety, elegance, class, and grace, and gentle, soft-spoken, mild-manneredness of a tsunami, clocking everyone over the back of the head with a cast-iron frying skillet and screaming, "Respect me." It doesn't work that way, honey. I don't know about you, but you cannot bully me into liking or respecting you. This fear of judgment explains workplace bullies' violent, explosive defensiveness that bristles at the slightest hairline trigger. What did you do that was so bad? It could be that you pointed out a mistake in their work. More often, most likely, it is that you called them out on their bullying and somehow indicated that you happen to kind of sort of like, not like it very much. And sometimes you haven't even verbalized anything. Some of the most vicious, mean-spirited bullying takes place after you notice that the bully has a pimple or a cold sore or spent too much time in the bathroom. If you're a non-narcissist and non-bully and a decent, normal person, you don't need to pick out and point out other people's flaws in order to feel good about yourself, and you have absolutely no intention of doing or saying anything with this information. And you could swear 6 ways from Sunday, upside down, inside out, and backwards, that you are not judging them. It doesn't matter. Workplace bullies judge themselves so harshly that all they can do is project and assume that you are doing the same. It's a cliche at this point that fear distorts perception, and perception is distortion. Workplace bullies are master projectors. Their fear of your judgment is a misinterpretation of your motivation and intent. They are the ones who run around the workplace all day, every day, trying to get other people fired and trying to steal other people's stuff, such as their jobs, in order to fill the void within. When it comes to workplace bullies' projections onto the target, they really need to do the work of Byron Katie and ask the 4 questions. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it is true? How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Who would you be without that thought? For example, Claire wants to take my job. Is it true? Can you absolutely know that it is true? How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Who would you be without that thought? Claire thinks she's better than me. Is it true? Can you absolutely know that it is true? How do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Who would you be without that thought? As narcissist workplace bullies have no discernment. They can't distinguish between whose opinions matter and whose don't. If you're a non-narcissist and a non-bully, you pick your battles, your cross to bear, and the hill you want to die on. Is it true that you don't care what anyone thinks of you? Some people's opinions really do matter. If my father judges me negatively, I agree with him. He's absolutely right. I care about the opinions of people I like, admire, and respect. I don't care about the opinions of workplace bullies. Workplace bullies, on the other hand, care about what everyone thinks of them. And for workplace bullies, no judgment is too petty. If I say you're ugly, I insult your physical appearance. If I say you're stupid, I insult your intellect. But if I say you're a bad person, that's the one that really stings, because it's a moral judgment. And when it comes to moral judgment in the workplace, we need to talk about do-gooder derogation. Do-gooder derogation is an actual thing. It's from research by Julia Minson and Benoit Monin. For non-native English speakers, what is a do-gooder? A do-gooder is a person who does actual good in the world, someone who does a lot of charity work, donating and volunteering, or simply a nice, kind, caring, and compassionate person who likes to help other people. Minson and Monin define a do-gooder as a quote-unquote moral rebel, someone who makes alternative, minority choices that are different from the mainstream, based on moral grounds. For example, a person who elects not to eat meat in a predominantly carnivorous society. Whether the person is donating to the Red Cross or volunteering at the soup kitchen or just has a robust yoga practice, the term do-gooder almost always has a negative connotation. It's associated with terms like goody two-shoes, holier than thou, and get off your high horse. It's almost always pejorative. So Minson and Monin set out to find out why. They conducted 3 experiments with some surprising findings. In the first experiment on political correctness, researchers assembled a group of people to identify a thief from a lineup. The researchers asked really leading questions that obviously pointed to the only African American man as the suspect. Finally, one of the participants in the research objected. He used the word offensive. Then, the other participants in the research began to derogate him. Interestingly, another group of participants in the research who were not involved in identifying the thief, but who were looking on, expressed admiration for the lone wolf, the man who spoke out, indicating that people may admire moral rebels who are removed from them, but not in the same peer group. The next 2 studies were about vegetarianism. The researchers assembled meat eaters. No vegetarians were present in the study. And the researchers asked the meat eaters what the meat eaters thought about vegetarians. The meat eaters expressed negative attitudes about vegetarians. They thought vegetarians looked down on them. The more they feared vegetarians' judgment, the more negatively they rated vegetarians. Interestingly, if the meat eaters were allowed to derogate, put down, or insult vegetarians, then subsequently they became more receptive and open to vegetarian ideas. Or, as one vegetarian commentator about the study put it, would you like to insult me before I talk to you about vegetarianism? Do-gooder derogation, more than anything, helped me understand those insults from workplace bullies that come out of nowhere. Whenever workplace bullies insulted me, I felt as though they were taking little cuts, like swipes of a cat's claw, trying to literally cut me down to size or level the playing field. It takes the edge off their anxiety. The anxiety that workplace bullies feel, sometimes in the physical presence of the target alone, is palpable, it's tangible, and that anxiety is their terror of your judgment. And that is workplace bullying in a nutshell. I have to hurt you before you have a chance to judge me. Victims of narcissistic abuse are often advised not to take things personally, and that's because it's not personal. If it's narcissism, it's just all about the narcissist and his need to self-medicate whatever weird emotion he feels in the presence of the target, which explains why workplace bullies have not put a lot of thought into the consequences of their bullying and why they are so surprised by your response to their bullying. And why after bullying you, they not only care about what you think of them, but also come back as though everything's fine, everything's normal, nothing happen, and expect a close personal relationship with you, a friendship, and even romantic and even sexual relationship. Just like meat eaters who have had the opportunity to insult vegetarians, after bullying you, workplace bullies feel relaxed and now open and receptive to communication and relationship. Only you don't. Many of the well-known do-gooders in the world tolerate the derogation because they have an agenda to sell. For example, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, missionaries who go door to door, who go on mission trips, they probably face tremendous discrimination. And I think I've heard reports of some Mormons even being killed, but I believe that their training probably prepares them for the backlash. And in their minds, they are saving souls for Christ. What job could be better than that? Some vegetarians really don't care who eats what. They are vegetarians for personal reasons, could be dietary, they could be eating disordered and could be using vegetarianism as an excuse to restrict. Some vegetarians, however, really believe that meat eating is detrimental to the planet and would like to convert other people to their lifestyle. If you are a target of workplace bullying, you're not proselytizing anything, not here to educate. You're just doing you. It has been said that the target of workplace bullying may have more integrity than the bullies. Does that mean that the do-gooder in the workplace is the one who is not a criminal? Well, it can. There are no laws against workplace bullying. I do not have hope that there ever will be. So workplace bullying is not illegal, but it's definitely unethical. If workplace bullies are not above bullying you, then what else are they up to? I believe that workplace bullying is the tip of the iceberg, the slippery slope, the marijuana, the gateway drug to other unethical and maybe even illegal behaviors. The target of workplace bullying may be a whistleblower, which can be a very dangerous position to be in. Or the target of workplace bullying may have been expressly hired for unethical and even illegal activities, such as revealing trade secrets, such as clients from competitors that the target has worked for, or orchestrating this whole libelous narcissistic smear campaign against the bully's professional enemies, or just having an extramarital affair with the bully. Whatever it is, workplace bullies cannot articulate these expectations overtly and then bully out of frustration that the target has not read the narcissist's mind. In, again, decades of being bullied in the workplace, I've witnessed plenty of unethical and even criminal behavior among my bullying colleagues, ranging from extramarital affairs used to secure positions of power, oldest trick in the book, honey, to smoking indoors, to outright graft. Workplace bullies be cooking the books, y'all, and you really don't want to know who is up to no good outside of the workplace. You don't want to know who stops by the 24-hour Asian massage parlor and spa with the blacked out windows to rape the child victims of sex trafficking before going home to their own wives and daughters, because sex trafficking exists only because of demand. Who has a child porn collection on their home computer, who is dealing on the side in prostitution, drugs, and or guns, or who just has profiles on infidelity websites. You don't want to know who has rape and murder fantasies and who may have even acted on those fantasies. Workplace bullies as narcissists have no boundaries, and as narcissists with no boundaries, they engage in something that I call evil spreading. They recruit flying monkeys and little minions to collude with them in their evil, which is their mean-spiritedness and their bullying, ranging from dirty looks and eye-rolling to ridicule and gossip. Workplace bullies are both divisive and inclusive at the same time. One of my theories about workplace bullying is that workplace bullies never act alone. The word mobbing just needs to be retired once and for all, because all workplace bullying is mobbing. Workplace bullies never act alone because they can't. They are too weak. They're also evil. Goodness has the strength to stand alone. If you know someone who is a truly good person, that person is also probably truly, truly unique. But evil needs allies, and you're not one of them. I believe that all conflict in relationships arises out of a difference in values. Your value set is your belief system. And no, I'm not talking about politics or organized religion. I'm talking about What do you like? What do you not like? What do you value? And please say something deeper than just hard work. If you reject the value set of an insecure person, that person feels as though you have rejected the entire person. And workplace bullies are up to their eyeballs in abandonment issues. Maybe you're just not down with all of the empty, soulless values of Western capitalist culture: food, money, sex, image, body, 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 not necessarily in that order. Wash, rinse, repeat, cycling and recycling through the lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy. But at the very least, in a workplace bullying environment, the value that you do not share is the bullying. You're not getting into all the drama and the nonsense and the gossip. And that is a value conflict. And that is your do-gooding. So that's a summary of a point I want to make about fear as a cause of workplace bullying. If you'd like to read more, I've written an essay on workplace bullying. It's on my website. I include that information in the description. The reason I create this video series is to establish a forum where targets of workplace bullying can share their stories and experiences in a kind of support group. So you can know, number one, you're not crazy. Workplace bullying is real and your feelings are perfectly valid and justified. And number two, you're not alone. Unfortunately, countless others have experienced the same thing. So I look forward to reading your comments and I'll try to respond. Take care.